Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Always Tomorrow, where we share things nervous system, health, regulation, learning to heal, and just kind of showing that life can, life on the other side of healing, and that life can get better, and that there is always tomorrow to try again. If you don't know me, my name is Kat. I am a registered nurse. I have been living in Australia for the last 6 years, but I'm originally from New Zealand. I have a huge passion for all things nervous system, regulation, health and wellness, and trying to heal, myself after living with such a significant anxiety, panic disorder, social anxiety, recovering from depression, PTSD, all of the things. If there's a thing, I have dealt with it, and I'm kind of on the other side now, and wanted to share the regulation tools and just kind of everyday routines and habits that I'm starting to implement now to maintain my overall wellness. On today's video, I wanted to just share the top 3 sort of things that I have done and implemented into my everyday life that have really helped me build healthy habits while I have learned to regulate and heal and do all of the deep inner work. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing on the list that I have really tried to implement into my day-to-day life, and something that you can start to do now, is that I tried to actively and consciously slow down in everyday moments sort of thing in my life. I noticed that when I was really anxious and was very activated in fight or flight, I would rush through everyday tasks, and everything that I was doing had this overwhelming sense of urgency behind it when it just did not need to. And I found that it was fast tracking me to my burnout, and it was making me more anxious. It was making me not feel any value in my everyday life, and I just found it was just really overwhelming. Truly, it's not a comfortable thing to be rushing through everyday tasks. I always felt like I didn't have enough time, and that I was behind, and that I was failing, and it just was not a great way to live. So ways that I have really started to try and intentionally slow down in every day, and something that I still catch myself doing, and now it's a bit more programmed in my brain to really stop and slow down and do these things. But I stopped trying to optimize every second of every day. I stopped trying to fill in all the gaps, and I tried to create more space in my day and more free time, and to take away a lot of the stimulus as well. So more less screen time, doing trying to squeeze less things into a day. Why am I trying to do it all in one moment? You don't have to. Life is long. Life is short, but life is long. You don't have to do everything at once, so stop trying to. Less screen time was a big one. I downloaded app blocking devices like Brick. Brick's really good. I do have a discount code, link in bio, if you do want to try Brick, and that blocks off apps so that you can't access them, which really helped with my screen time. Anytime I'd go for a walk, or I'd sit on the beach, or go out for a coffee, or try and read, I would try and just do that. So if I was out going for a walk at the beach, I would try not to take my phone, or try not listen to any music or podcasts, and I would just be with myself and my thoughts, and just have space, and try to get more bored, because I think boredom honestly is one of the biggest things that I've learned to try and actually be and aim to become more bored. I remember growing up being bored all the time, but boring is actually really important for our brain, and I think being bored creates space for your brain to be a bit more creative, and it actually gives your brain time to fully rest and regulate. And I don't know, I always feel like I have the best ideas when I'm bored, and yeah, it's so easy to be overstimulated all the time due to how fast-paced our world is now. So yeah, I think just trying to get more bored and find more stillness and trying to slow down in everyday tasks has been really important for me in practicing regulation each day. Number 2 would be prioritizing my physical health. And I know this is said almost in every single video out there about healing and wellness and everything, but there's a reason for it. Physical health is everything, especially like coming from being a nurse and seeing so many sick people. Physical health is literally everything. Your health is your wealth, and you don't realize how good it is until you're sick. I try and implement just like daily habits into my daily routine and try not actually overdo it. This is like a really important thing for me specifically, is I would try and do everything all at once and hard and fast, and like, you know, I would, and this is probably like my ADD brain, but you know, wanting to get fit and strong or lose weight or something, and it would be like, okay, well, I can only work out, you know, like realistically you only really need to work out 3 days a week, but I'd be like, no, I have to work out every single day, otherwise I'm failing. And I think just like taking the pressure off myself has been like really important, being like, actually you don't have to work out every single day. Like, stop trying to like it, like as in the previous bit, like stop trying to optimize every moment of every day. Like, you don't actually have to work out every single day. Like, just do something each day to that goal, that moves you closer to that goal. I also found that when I would over exercise, I would get really burnt out, and it would actually lead to more burnout because my career choice is physically draining anyway, and so working out on top of it, I get really friggin' tired. So I had to really prioritize and not beat myself up about working out every day. So the next thing would be making sure I eat enough food. For me, when I'm really anxious and stressed, I forget to eat, and becomes like this thing where I could eat one meal a day, or you know, I could just snack throughout the day and just live off like coffee, like, and I've realized I get to the end of the day and I've not eaten anything. So I really try and prioritize eating whole foods and consciously eating, and just trying to make sure that I'm eating enough protein each day is like a really important one. Obviously it's good for muscle strength and bone health and brain function, all of that thing. So yeah, obviously I'm not a nutritionist, but just really prioritizing your food that you consume, reduce obviously refined sugar, processed food, all of that, because that dysregulates your nervous system as well. So really be mindful of what you're consuming. And I guess last on this little section is just getting enough sleep. Sleep is like the most underrated thing, and trying to make sure that you get enough sleep is so important for your overall health in general. Obviously being a shift worker, my sleep cycle is like a little bit cray, so I just try and do the best that I can and try and prioritize 8 hours sleep a night, and if I need more sleep, I get more sleep, sort of thing. I'm a chronic, and trying to work with my body, I think, was the other thing that I really had to learn, and this helped me to regulate a bit more, was stop trying to join the 5 a.m. club. It's like a big one. Like, who the frig wants to do that anyway? Me personally could never. Maybe you could, but me personally absolutely not. Like, it's just like, stop trying to stress yourself out to be someone that you're not, basically, because I'm not a morning person and I need to stop. I had to like stop trying to pretend I was, and it just made me feel so much better when I actually just like said, you know what, I ain't doing that. And this leads me into my third point, is I stop trying to become someone that I'm not. And this generally might be obvious, but it is like so insane how much we compare ourselves to other people. And obviously it's not our fault, like it's completely ingrained in our society from childhood, you know, through the schooling system. We're just constantly compared to our peers, so it is ingrained in our brains and in our society. So unlearning it has been one of the biggest and greatest things I think I've ever done for my overall wellness, nervous system, and just health, my mental health. It's been enormous, and it's taken time to do this, but yeah, it's been like awesome. Obviously there's a multitude of ways to do this, and it does take, I want to say, like, it's taken me a few years to really get confident in myself again, because yeah, I grew up very insecure. I grew up with severe social anxiety. I had very low self-esteem, so learning to be more confident in myself has taken quite a lot of intentional time and repetition of practicing my worth. The ways that I like try and do this, whenever I feel like a bit more insecure at the moment, I try and spend less time on social media. Obviously this is like kind of obvious, but social media is like amazing in so many ways, but it's so easy to compare yourself to other people on social media and to just constantly create stories about their lives in your head. I find I do that all the time, where like I will see an image and then all of a sudden I've just created this like whole story of how much better their life is than mine, and then I start comparing, like, oh, but like why don't I have this, or why don't I have that, like, oh, they're so lucky, like they're God's favorite sort of thing. And it's just not true. Like, everyone is going through something, and you know, I kind of learned that. I'm 31 now, and I think I've learned that over time, like just actually talking to people in person, and then like you see images and then you talk to them and then they tell you, you know, like you see a beautiful photo of them and a partner, like for example, and then you talk to them and they're actually like about to break up, like, but in my head I'm like, I'm still single, like look at them with their, like, the love of their life sort of thing. And it's just not, you know, like you just never know what anyone's going through, so like to stop comparing. But it's so hard to do. When I'm like really spiraling with social media, I do brick my phone, or you know, try spend less time on social media. So again, if you're interested in trying brick, it's so good. I did have Opal before and I did like it, so like try Opal as well. But I just found that I could easily override Opal, whereas like brick, I find it harder to override. So I actually like stick to the, you know, no social media time, which is like really great. The other thing I stopped doing was I stopped like trying to alter my appearance, and I tried to just actually embrace who I am and accept that like this is enough, and your own natural self is actually who you are at your core, and you know, you're worthy of her, you know, you're worthy as you are, like in your whole, like your natural state. I grew up with alopecia, so my physical appearance has been a very like a huge insecurity for me. I do have bald patches, like I don't want to expose myself right now, but I do have bald patches. But when I grew up, I didn't really have any hair on like my whole head. I didn't have eyebrows, I didn't have arm hair, like the whole kit and caboodle. And so that really like for me built this like core foundational belief that like, you know, of insecurity and not feeling enough, because I literally had a physical deformity. And you know, it wasn't normal, like especially growing up in your formative years, like it's so, oh, it's just not lovely to experience. So I think it's always, even now, like being 31, it's still something that I think about every single day. Obviously I have enough hair on my head now to cover it all, and like most people, you wouldn't even know that I had alopecia, but it's something I actually think about every single day, and it really has impacted how I show up in a lot of my relationships and my friendships, and it's really impacted my life, which is so sad, but it's just one of those things. Something that I did, I've been in Bali for the last month, and I think it was the end of last year, I got my first lot of hair extensions put in. I had a half head weft just to add fullness to my hair. Loved them. And then when I got to Bali, because it's so affordable here, I actually got a full head of hair extensions, and I'll show you a photo because I got them taken out within like the last week, and they were just so hard to manage. I also got eyelash extensions which I haven't had since uni, and I don't really know where I got them. I thought just like when in Rome, like it would just be easier. Normally I get an eyelash lift in tent, but anyway, I got them here and I just did not feel like myself, like whatsoever. I'd also gained around 10 kilos this year because I injured my back at work, and I just felt just nothing like myself, like whatsoever. And I actually found I'd done all the things, like I'd always dreamed of having like, the whole point is I'd always dreamed of having like long luscious locks. Like I always thought that if I had like thick glorious hair, that like I would finally feel like incredible, and that like I'd be attractive and I'd be like hot, and you know, I'd finally be able to get a partner, or like whatever it was, you know. And I realized like just having it in, and I'm so glad I did it, because it made me really miss like who I actually am, and that like it made me really reflect on being like, do you know what, like I actually felt so much better when I had my little wrangly, look at that little like thin fine hair, like it's me, you know, that's who I am. And I think possibly like it's an age thing where like I'm too old to be fake anymore, and you know, and there's no hate to extensions or anything, like I think they're freaking awesome, but it was just more like I actually want to feel more like myself, and they were taking me further away from myself. And after dealing with like such, you know, significant anxiety and like panic disorder and like all these things, like I actually hated it. And I thought, do you know what, like I've spent my whole life comparing myself to other people and wanting to be someone else, and actually I kind of realized that like the best version of me is actually who I am naturally. So yeah, got everything out and then just instantly felt this like wave of relief. So I'm super glad I've done it. I still have the hair, so like at least like I can put them back in like if I want to. But yeah, I'm glad I tried it, but not for me anymore. I need to wrap this video up, but I hope this kind of helped. Obviously it's more my perspective. I do have like a lot more to share. There's so many aspects to my healing journey and how I kind of got to a place of being very free and comfortable in my body and being able to function, because yeah, I could not function before. And so yeah, if you're interested in hearing more or just listening to me yap, then follow along, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.